Howdy guys, welcome to another lesson of Learn That Solo. Today we're going to be looking at Second Heartbeat by Avenged Sevenfold. Let's take a look. Quick disclaimer about the tuning. As per usual in Avenged Sevenfold, most of the time they're in drop D tuning, which is D, A, D, G, B, E. So get yourself in tune and we'll get started. Okay, so let's have a look at the first section. I want to start off with a slide into 13 of the second string, and then I want to jump to 12 of the third string. Give that a bit of vibrato, and then I work into this. So what I'm doing here is I'm playing 10 of the 5th string, and I'm doing a pull off from 8 back to 7, and then playing 8 again on the 3rd string. So all together, and I work into this. This is sort of arpeggio in its own right. So what I'm doing here is I'm sliding from 8 to 10 on the 1st string, and I build up, I guess, what would be a B flat major arpeggio. I'm playing 11 of the 2nd string and then 10 of the 3rd. Let's have a look at what we got from the start. Hopefully that's all making sense. Now I want to work through this part. Let's slow that down. I've got my pointer finger on 10th fret of the 3rd string, and then I've got 11 twice from the 2nd to the 1st string, and you'll notice that I'm just rolling my middle finger. Okay, and then after that, it's a bit better, Chris. I want to hit 13 twice on the 1st string and then slide over to 15. After I've done that slide, I want to play 13, 11 on the 1st. Okay, and then the next bit, I want to hit 13 twice on the 2nd string, but then I hammer to 15, and then we'll go 13, 11 on that same string. So all together. At the end of that, I want to slide from 11 to 13 and then 13 to 8. So that's all in one go. Hopefully that's all making sense. Let's have a look at the next chunk and then we'll do the whole section. So what I've got here is a little sweep. I'm sweeping a flat finger, playing 8 of the 1st, the 2nd and the 3rd. When I get to the 3rd string, I want to slide from 8 to 7. After that I go, what I've got here is a pull off from 10 to 7 on the 3rd string, and then 10 to 8, I'm just plucking both notes on the 4th. Let's go from that mini sweep. Okay, now to finish that off, I do a slight slide into 8 of the 4th, not from anywhere specific, and then just play 8, 9, 10, so it's just a quick chromatic thing. So I'll do the last chunk. Let's try the whole section relatively slowly, and then we'll do it again with some tabs. One more time, some tabs. Okay, so the second section starts relatively similarly to the first. We want to start off, slide into 13 of the 2nd and then play 12 of the 3rd. And then I want to play from 8 to 7 on the 3rd string. And then we're going to borrow this phrase from the first section. That was the jump from 10 of the 5th to a pull off from 8 to 7 back to 8 on the 3rd. And then this sliding arpeggio idea, which was from 8 to 10 on the 1st string, 11 of the 2nd, and then 10 of the 3rd. So that's all very similar. So from the start of section 2 thus far, one more time. Okay, then we go to this. So what I've got here, I sort of lightly economy pick or sweep through this. I want to play 10 of the 3rd string, and then when I hit the B string or the 2nd string, I want to do a hammer on from 11 to 13. So after I've done that light sweep or little economy pick, I want to pick, what I'm doing here is I'm picking 10, 11, 13 on the 1st string, and then I want to hit the 13 again and slide to 15. Okay, at the end of that, after that slide, I want to play 13, 11 on the 1st, and then jump to 13 of the 2nd string. So all together, let's try it from the start of the section with that chunk, and then we'll do the last part. Okay, then from there, working around a C minor 7th arpeggio. So I'm going sliding from 15 to 18. So 15 to 18, and then I want to play 16, 15 on the 1st. And then I just work my way up the arpeggio, which is 16 of the 2nd, and then 17 of the 3rd. When I get to that 17, give it some sexy vibrato. And at the end of that, I've got a full tone bend, and then I think it's a tone and a half. So we're trying to make the initial bend make 17 sound like 19, and then the second bend would be making it sound like 20. So if you want some reference points to the pitch of the bends to keep them in tune, that's the idea. So we've got, let's try the whole section one more time, and we'll do it slowly with some tabs. One more time with some tabs. Okay, so this is the section where things start getting a little cray. We'll take it really, really slowly. So I want to start off with this thing, which is kind of working around the C minor pentatonic. So I've got to pull off from 11 to 8 on the 2nd string, and then I want to go back to 11 for a bendy vibrato. Okay, then I work into this phrase. Okay, so what I'm doing at the start of that is I'm playing 8, 11, 13, and then 11, 8. So reversing that, and then jumping to 11 of the 2nd string. And I do pretty much the same idea, but the furthest note I hit is going to be 14. So I'm going to go 8, 11, 14, and then reverse that, 11, 8, and then to 11 of the 2nd string. So I'll go. Okay, from the start now. Okay, now what we're going to do when we get to the 11 on the 2nd occasion after the big stretchy 14 thing, we're going to work into this minor 7th arpeggio and then have that little shred. So what I'm doing here is a pull off from 11 to 8 on the 2nd string, roll into 8 of the 3rd, and then playing 10 of the 4th. From there, I want to roll back. So I'm going from the 10 of the 4th to 8 of the 3rd and then 8 of the 2nd. But when I hit 11 here, I don't want to hammer on that. Usually I would hammer that on, but I want to actually pick that note to work into this shred. So when I get to this 11 of the 2nd string, I'm going to play 11, 9, 8 quite quickly twice. So I go. At the end of that double little shred thing, I'm going to vibrato 11 of the 1st string. So I go Let's take it from the start of the section and we'll start working on the second chunk. Hopefully that's making sense. And then we want to go into this. Alright, let's take that slowly. I've got 2 pull-offs from 8 to 7, hammering back to 8 and then pulling off to 7. So it'll go, and that's on the 3rd string. Then I have a pull-off from 11 to 8 on the 2nd string. And then I work into a G minor 7 arpeggio, which is this. So once again, we're sort of sweeping our way through and then going into a bit of a shred thing. So the start of that arpeggio was playing 10 of the 5th, 8 of the 4th, and then 7 of the 3rd. And then I want to hammer, well, I want to pluck, we're actually going to pluck that 10 of the 3rd string, and we'll go, so it's going to go 10, 8, 7, 8, 10, all on the 3rd string. So from the start of this chunk, and then I go, let's slow this down, I'm on the 2nd string now, and I'm going to go 8, 11, 9, 8 on the 2nd, and then at the end of that I want to play 6, 7, 8 on the 2nd string. So from the start of this section, then at the end of that, what I'm doing here is I'm playing 6 and then 10 and sliding that to 13 of the 1st string. At the end of that, I want to pull off from 13 to 11 and then pull off to the 10, so I go. Then from there, I sweep through just those last 2 notes to sort of make a bit of a G minor-y, bit of a B flat thing going on there. So I'm playing 11 of the 2nd string and then pulling off 12 to 10 on the 3rd, so I go. So from the start of this arpeggio, let's try and take it from the start of this section. So we had the pentatonic-y thing at the start, we'll join the whole thing together and then do it one more time slowly with some tabs. One more time with some tabs. Okay, section 4 we're going to be dealing with this super fun shreddy bit. I want to start from 18 of the 1st string and I'm going to play 18, 16, 15. And then when I get to the 2nd string I'm going to do that formation twice, 18, 16, 15. I'm going to shuffle back and play 16, 15, 13 on the 2nd. Okay, then we sort of want to borrow that 1st shape again. I'm going to play 15, 13, 12 twice on the 3rd string. We're going to go, whoop, that's better. And I'm going to shuffle that back by playing 13, 12, 10 on the 3rd string and also the same on the 4th. So from the start, okay, then I'm going to shuffle over to 15 of the 4th and I'm going to play 15, 13, 12. And then jump down to the 3rd string and play 15, 13, 12 there as well. And then jump back up to the 4th string and play 15, 13, 12. So it's the same thing 3 times. So from the start. And at the end of that, I end up on 10 of the 4th string. Okay, then I'll work into this. Okay, so the start of that, I do a slight slide into 10 of the 4th string, and then I want to play 7, 8 on the 3rd, and I do a slight slide into 11 of the 2nd. I guess it would be sort of a semitone from 10 to 11, but it's not that necessary. Okay, and then the last bit I do is I play 8, 9 on the 2nd, then 10 of the 1st, and then do sort of a semitone bend with a bit of vibrato. Let's try the whole section relatively slowly and then we'll do it again with some tabs. One more time with some tabs. Okay, so the last section is going to deal with some sweeping and a bit of shredding. So I'm going to start by playing a C minor arpeggio way up here. I'm going to sweep through 17 of the third to 16 of the second to 15 of the first. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to play 20 and pull off to 15, and I do that twice. And then I want to jump back to 16 of the second string, and then we start again, and we want to do that movement within the sweep 4 times. At the end of the 4th one, I just want to add that 17 of the 3rd string again. Hopefully that's making sense. And then I work through, I guess, a G minor kind of arpeggio. I'm only doing the bottom 3 strings, so I just had to check it. I want to play 19 of the 3rd string, and then 20 of the 2nd, and then I'm going to play 18 of the 1st. So sweeping through that. Now what makes this bit tricky is I've got a quick triplet on 22 of the 1st string. At the end of that quick triplet I do a pull off back to 18, and then I jump to 20 of the 2nd string, and we want to do this idea 5 times. 1, 2, 3. At the end of the 5th one I want to jump back to 19 of the 3rd. At the end of that, after the 19 of the 3rd string, I've got that bendy sort of vibrato on 22 of the 1st string. So let's try and do what we've got from the start of the section. Okay, then we work through the final shred. So what I've got at the start of that is relatively diatonic. I'm playing 12, 13, 15 on the 4th and 12, 13, 15 on the 3rd. And then I shuffle over to 13 of the 2nd string. So I'm playing 13, 15, 16, and then I reverse that 15, 13 sort of go. Okay, then we'll just add in a quick cheeky minor 7 arpeggio. So what I'm doing here is playing 17, 16, 15 from the 3rd to the 1st string, and then just doing a hammer-on into a pull-off from 15 to 18. So that's our minor 7 note there. And then just reverse back up. So thus far from the run at the end. Okay, then to finish that off I go. So what I play at the end is 15, 16, 18 on the 2nd, and then 15, 16, 18 on the 1st, and then a vibrato on 20 of the 1st string. Let's try and take it from the start of the section. Let's try it one more time with some tabs. And that was the solo to Second Heartbeat by Avenged Sevenfold. Hope you guys enjoyed that. I'll catch you very soon.